Hi, I'm Tim Johnson, and I'll be your host for U.S. Ghost Tours. Now, the last time Mrs. Borden was seen alive was around 9 a.m. by her stepdaughter, the infamous Lizzie Borden, and the maid Bridget. At the time she was killed, Lizzie's sister Emma was out of town, Mr. Borden was out in Fall River, as was Uncle John. Now, Mrs. Borden was killed in the room where Uncle John slept the previous night. This room is now one of the most requested for overnight stays at the Lizzie Borden Axe Murder House and Museum, the John Morse Room, also known as the Murder Room. I don't know about you, but when I book an overnight stay, I generally hope it doesn't have the words Axe Murder or Murder Room anywhere in the description, or I'm staying somewhere else. But to each his own. Now, there was no sign of struggle, and Mrs. Borden had no defensive wounds. Peculiar, huh? The evidence is unclear whether she was facing her attacker and did not or could not fight back, or whether she was standing or kneeling, but what we do know what her wounds were. One blow was above her left ear, in the back of her head. Another blow was between her shoulder blades, and it was 4 inches deep. The remaining 17 blows were to the back of her head and neck for a total of 19. Now, she was eventually found face down in a pool of her own coagulated blood. I don't know if you know this, but human blood takes about 30 minutes to 60 minutes to get sticky. And between the blood and the stomach contents of both victims, we can put her murder around 9:30 a.m., a full hour and a half prior to Mr. Borden's murder. Now, in the photo on the dining room wall where they did the autopsy, now, I hope we're not having Thanksgiving there ever again, because I generally don't eat where there's been autopsies. But in that photo, you can see her lying flat on her stomach. You can also see a pool of blood around her head. And if you look in the mirror, you can see the camera that took the picture. Now, the Lizzie Borden crime scene photos were the first crime scene photos in the United States. And that's a morbid fun fact. Thank you for coming out to U.S. Ghost Tours. This has been Tim Johnson.